Kids are so perceptive. And I think maybe week 2 or 3, they were
Mm.
like, you're here. You're asking us questions and stopping to listen to the answers. You're not just on your phone. I'm a lot more present for them. And once I started really getting into the coaching, I start showing up in a bigger way. I start asking a lot more questions. I really dug into operations
Yeah.
and made them give me some answers about
Yes.
things.
Yes.
And it has changed our organization in a way where we're about to close another round of funding because
Wow.
we have so many operational improvements happening. I can speak up, I can speak my mind,
Mm-hmm.
and I can do it in a way that is authentic to me.
Yes.
It doesn't have to look like what John would do over here. It can be kind and it can be compassionate and it can be honest. It can be delivered without raising a tone. And my message can still get across. And I promise my message is getting across way more clearly.
And you'll win in life by having your soul on fire. Welcome to the Soul Powered Revolution, the essential podcast for high-achieving professional women who are done playing small. I'm Coach Mo, ex-CEO, ex-COO, and creator of the Soul Powered Method that has transformed over 2,200 executive women's careers. Each week, we decode the strategies that actually work for women at the leadership level while keeping your soul intact. Because true power isn't about working harder. It's about leading from your soul. If you're ready to stop dimming your light and claim the success you deserve, you're in the right place. New episodes drop weekly. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and join the revolution of women leading from their soul power. Let's dive in. Hey everyone, welcome to another Soul Powered Revolution where I am trying to instigate soul power in as many women as possible so that as professional women, we can navigate the world with more confidence, more power, more of our authentic self. And one such example we have here, Shayla Eberst. Hello, Shayla. Nice to see you again. It's been a minute since we were in the coaching, but just a couple of months, right? Not even maybe a couple of months, just a little bit ago. Shayla, tell us a little bit about who you are, and then we're going to jump right into the before snapshot.
Sure. Yeah, I'm Shayla Eberst. I am a chief of staff, and I actually started my career in nursing and started, as a brand new baby nurse on the floor, did that for a couple of years and quickly, rose through the ranks and went into leadership. Did the nurse manager role for a little bit, did an administrative role, kind of mid-level manager role for a little while. And then COVID happened, and I specifically worked with behavioral health and psychiatric patients. And so that was a special good challenge during COVID.
Yeah.
And so in 2021, I decided to go into the private sector because all throughout my career, I think I had just gathered all of these leadership skills. And so in 2021, I helped co-found a nonprofit. And then, like I said, just went into the private sector, and all of these skills kind of culminated in becoming a chief of staff because all of the use multiple skills kind of all over the place to keep the train on the tracks is what I always say. So that's really what I do.
That's right. And nothing like a nurse to know how to juggle multiple priorities.
That's
right. Super great. And with all due respect, you were having success in your chief of staff role, but something wasn't quite where you wanted it to be. What was going on that was an obstacle or a challenge that you needed to navigate differently?
So I think all throughout my career, I've always been able to get to a certain point, a certain level, and then sort of hit the ceiling. And all of these interactions that I have had, although I'm gathering new skills and learning and having, all of these great experiences, I'm always kind of come up against someone in a position of leadership higher than me that somehow made me feel small.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, throughout my career, I also am a mother of three
Mm-hmm.
and a wife and a
Mm-hmm.
daughter and
Yeah.
all of the
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Um, and just started to feel like I'm not seen anymore. I just was getting smaller and smaller and smaller to the point
Yeah.
where I started to feel invisible.
Yeah. And when you start feeling invisible, in your job, it was like an uphill battle.
Yeah, and it starts to bleed over, I think, to other areas of your life
Yeah.
because it's easy to fall into those roles of wife, daughter, mother, and you lose yourself somewhere along the
Mm-hmm.
way. And then it's reiterated at work where you're just not seen. And then you just kind of shrug your shoulders and accept it at some point. And
Yeah.
that's really where I was.
Yeah. I don't want to use this word because I know you now,
Mm.
but I was
But you
saying,
knew me then too.
yeah, I did know you then too. There was like a victim y energy going
Yes.
on,
Yeah.
which is what happens when you're not being
All
seen
of
and
these
heard.
things were
Yeah.
happening to me, and I
Right.
didn't have any ownership or couldn't claim my stake or stake my claim in any
Yeah.
of it. It was just all of these things happening to me.
Yeah. And while you're in that, you probably didn't understand the factors that were piling up on each other that begin to put you into a point of no return. Like getting out of it, digging out of it is just almost
Yeah,
impossible. It's like click
it was
quicksand.
it
As
was
soon as
just
you start trying
powerless.
to, yeah,
Yeah, things keep happening to me, and I have no agency over them.
yeah,
I have no
yeah,
power here.
right. And then the nervous system
Hmm.
takes its toll.
Yes.
And then the body starts to get super tired.
Mhm.
And then we start to feel like, well, maybe we're not worth it anyway. Maybe there's something wrong with me. Maybe I'm not really able to attain being visible or heard or promoted or advanced.
Yeah, maybe I can't achieve that level of success.
Yeah.
No one in my family ever has. And so
Hmm.
maybe that's just not what's for me because
Hmm.
I feel like right now I physically can't do
Uh-huh.
more.
Right.
But also not understanding it's not like a do more kind
Yes,
of thing. It's really a state
exactly.
of being, which is
Yes,
kind of where we got to.
that's right. And I just happened to coach a woman last night in our coaching program. That this was the thing.
Mm.
She wants to be at a VP level, and yet the overwork and overwhelm she's experiencing as a director is causing her to really not think that she could be in the VP
Mhm.
level. And this is a very common female phenomenon,
Yeah.
because we are juggling. I mean, I was a working mom at a big chunk of my
Yeah,
career.
yeah, not to poop on it really. Like it's not an easy thing to do,
Right.
um, but it is doable.
Yes. Yes. And while you were in the 12 week, well, let's talk about before the 12 weeks. At some point, you clicked on an ad or
Mhm.
post or something. Do you remember
Yeah,
what
it was a
resonated with
Facebook
you?
ad
Uh
that
huh.
had come up. Again, I'm always kind of a consumer of leadership,
Mm-hmm.
and continue growth and learning and those kind of things. And so I think like it just hit the algorithm in the right way.
Right.
But really experiencing this feeling of no one sees me, no one sees me. And then this ad comes up and, you're just kind of mindlessly scrolling. And I think what was said in the ad is like, stop, I see you.
Mm.
And it was like, really? You do? Do you really? Are you here? Did I get FaceTime? But it was the first time that I really felt like I think I think this person may actually understand what's going on.
Yeah.
And, book a free clarity call is like, well, there's nothing to lose there,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's free,
Mm-hmm.
it's half an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So let me
Mm-hmm.
just call and see what these people are about.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we talk about what's not working. We talk about where you want to go and what that gap is. And for you, that gap felt pretty big in like whatever was going on for you, the overwhelm, the overwork. How am I gonna cross that gap? How am I gonna get there? You made a powerful decision to get the coaching. What did you have to believe in order to make that decision?
I think I had to believe that I was worth the investment and really sell myself on the idea that this is an actual true investment.
Mm-hmm.
This is not, okay, I'm going to pay for some classes.
Right.
But at that time, I think my soul was so hungry
Mm.
for, this is a no lose situation,
Mm-hmm.
that you
Mm-hmm.
already feel as bad as, I hope, as bad as you
As you
ever
can
are going to
get.
feel.
Right. Right.
Right. So, like, there's nothing to lose here and
Mm-hmm.
only something to gain.
Yeah. Yeah. What a powerful way to put yourself first. Not a common thing for women.
It was hard. It was hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. To really say, you know what, if this is going to happen, I'm going to need people who know how to do something more than what I know how to do.
That's right. And for me, the financial investment of it, that's a big deal to me.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
don't take that lightly.
Right.
Um, and I understand that that is, privilege for a lot of people.
Yes.
And I totally hats off acknowledge that as
Yep.
well. But if I'm going to choose to invest in something, then I'm going to go all in.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to spend the money on this and this is going to be an investment. So
Mhm.
jump in both feet. Here we go. Plug your
Yes.
nose.
Yes.
Yeah,
Hold your nose. It
that's
could
right.
get deep,
Here we go.
but we're going to be able to swim out of this.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And we're sort of joking about that, but the truth is transformation, helping yourself come out of a life circumstance that is basically sucking you dry,
Mm-hmm.
does take work and it takes a commitment. And you may or may not remember this from your call, but we always make sure that when we work with someone that they're ready to make the commitment,
Mm-hmm.
because not showing up, and you know what the weekly calls are about and your one-on-ones with your coach, not having the commitment to show up for yourself is nothing that we as coaches can solve for.
Right.
And there are, a few women in every month or so that we've got to almost knock their door down to remind them that
Yeah.
they've
Hey,
got
where
this
you been? Yeah. But like, if you don't
coaching.
show up for you, who's gonna?
Yeah.
I can't ask anybody to show up for me unless I'm showing up for me already.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have to carve the time out,
Mm-hmm.
couple of hours to do the client portal work, couple of hours to get on a coaching call. And you may have been one of the people who stayed on the coaching call longer than you needed to, because were you getting such stuff from from the
Yeah,
coaching
it's
of
so
others as well?
interesting to bring that up because I think that was a big selling point to me was the fact that there are other women
Mm-hmm.
who are experiencing similar situations
Yep.
in various,
Yeah.
aspects and varying degrees. But it
Yes.
was such a selling point to me because I just think women are so cool. I
Mm-hmm.
just think they're so cool. And I think
Mm-hmm.
like biologically, um, like the universe kind of knows how important women are in
Yes.
the fact that we can bring life into the world.
Yes.
And then biologically, at some point, 3/4 of the way through your life, we stop that risk factor for you and keep you living so that we can gain the wisdom that you have.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so other women being on these calls was really like, I'm going to gain the wisdom of their shared life experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did end up staying, and sometimes those calls are 3+ hours.
Yep.
Originally had no intention of doing that. Like, great, I'm going to do my little coaching. Let me be one of the first,
Yep.
and then I can log off and I can
In and
go
out. Yeah.
be a mom and be a wife and be
Yeah.
all the things, right?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I think after the first call, I was like, I am in. I want to hear everything that everybody has to say.
Right.
And let me get in that chat and
Yeah.
start like
Yeah.
cheering them on
Right.
because
Right.
it
Yeah.
was just so incredible to me.
Yeah. It's the number one thing that our clients say in our post-graduation survey is the value of the borrowed coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And being at it at a front row seat, hearing all strata of professional women, some
Yeah.
who are way up there, some who are still sort of struggling to
Mhm.
to come along, and they all have, everyone in the program at any given time has the overwhelm of being a working woman. Some don't have kids. Same story. You're being put
Mhm.
upon, you're filling everyone's gaps, you're doing three people's work, you haven't asked for more money, you haven't gotten the promotion, they keep promising you stuff, you keep grueling it out,
Mhm.
job losses, etc. You mentioned that in one of the coaching workshops I did a special exercise. Do you want to talk about that
Yes,
exercise?
that was my first call,
Oh, was it
actually.
your first
That was
one?
my very first one.
Yeah.
And um, I was really, really struggling, I think, initially with a scarcity mindset and having made a large investment in
Hmm.
myself
Hmm.
and feeling maybe some shame, not regret, but maybe
Hmm.
some shame about
Huh?
I'm doing this for me. And this is,
Hmm.
I'm not spending money on my kids. I'm
Yeah.
not, we're not going on vacation. This is a big deal to me. And I think I was just
Hmm.
trying to express to you how big of a deal. And
Yeah.
like, you got to give me your best shots, right? Hit me with your best shot
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
this is a big deal to me.
Hmm.
And so we talked through kind of um, generations past and these women in my lives who were incredible, but not very much level of like, especially financial success and being able to talk about finances and being really comfortable with saying like, I deserve to make money.
Hmm.
I'm okay. And not just okay, but like I can claim that I would like to make more money.
Yep. Sure.
And there are generations of women behind me, like rooting me on to be
Yep.
able to do that. And
Yes.
it was so, you did like this imagery,
Hmm.
um, experiential thing with me. And it was, I could see them. I could see a crowd of generations of women
Yeah.
with me on a stage, and they're like, go, go, go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like all of the sacrifices that they had made
Hmm.
to get me here. And it was not acceptable anymore for me to say, I can't do it. It just wasn't acceptable.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
yeah, you hit me with your best shot
Yeah.
first call. Yeah, it
Um,
was really
um,
powerful, still is to me
yeah. Yeah.
today.
I'm so happy about that. Because isn't that the truth?
Oh, it's 100% the truth.
Which is why it hits you so hard. Because
Exactly.
the truth is, we're really living the first generation, so the last 30 years, maybe 40 if we want to stretch it, but not 50. The
No.
last 30 to 40 years have been the first time that women have collectively been in the workplace doing significant work and not just being laborers and subservient.
Hmm.
We are running things. We are making things happen in companies. We are leaders. We are influencing the bottom line. We're influencing growth. We're hiring and firing people. Like we are in a level of domain of making things happen in a corporate, even if it's a nonprofit, it's
Hmm.
still corporation
Hmm.
of a collection of people on purpose to do some good in the world, whether that be, selling groceries or behavioral health or whatever the case may be. It's the first real time in history that we are aware of. Maybe this happened 5,000 years ago in Egypt, but that women really are in the mix. And yet we're still playing a game that was, rules were all written by mostly white guys.
Hmm.
I'm gonna do a podcast episode, probably very soon, about the Super Bowl culture.
Mm.
The Super Bowl culture, which is one of the most popular TV shows that airs any given year,
Yeah, annual. Yep.
it is a massive bro culture. It is and I love sports, but it
Yeah.
is the coming together of men trying to outstrength each other And it is the biggest conglomeration of money and masculine power that comes together every single year. And even though you don't work in an NFL company, the culture that we all work in is a remnant of that.
Yeah, it's a piece of that no matter where you go. And like you said, I've worked in 3, 4 different industries now. Chief of
Yes,
staff is kind of translatable across
yes,
industries.
yes,
And it's sort of same story, different building.
right.
And so I really had to know how to play that game.
Yes. And as women, it's not a sport that we were reared for. And if you
Right.
look back at all the women who are cheering you on in your ancestral lineage, more than likely, many of them were homemakers and doing stuff like
Yeah,
that.
several of them were homemakers. And I think where I get kind of maybe my gumption to do more is a couple of my grandmothers kind of broke through those barriers
Uh-huh.
in the
There
50s,
we go. Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
in smaller ways,
Uh-huh.
obviously, because like we talked about, this
Right.
is the kind of the first generation that this has happened on this scale.
Yes.
But like my grandmother ran a grain elevator working with farmers, and
Nice.
she
Ah.
she ran it. Let me tell
Yeah,
you.
baby. Okay.
You
Yeah.
ran it. And
Yeah.
so it's kind of both and, right? It's like
Yeah.
you have these homemakers, you have these
Yes.
gentle, docile, people pleasing women, and then you also have these
Like a
barrier
one-off here and there. Yeah.
busters.
Yeah.
And to be able to do the imagery of all of
Yeah.
them and like all of their experiences all culminating
Yeah.
to make me
Yes.
and to get me to where I am, it just was a no-brainer to say, what else would you be doing?
Right.
And of course we support you.
Right.
We are like, this
Yeah.
is what we this is what we were waiting for.
That's right. That's
So
right.
like, go get it.
Yeah. And even though the workplace can sometimes be, you got to throw a couple of elbows to make
Yes.
your way through an authority or a department lead or anything like that, it doesn't necessarily come naturally. And we have to gain a certain level of identity about that. And as you know, my work is all about your soul power. What did you learn about having your power actually be coming from within rather than having to battle and get stuff accomplished through others by sort of, dare I say, like how guys do it?
Yeah, I think I had to come to terms with the fact that I can speak up, I can speak my mind,
Mm-hmm.
and I can do it in a way that is authentic to me.
Yes.
And it doesn't have to look like what John would do over here,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yep.
It can be kind and it can be compassionate and it can be honest and it can be all of those things. It can be delivered without raising a tone.
Mm-hmm.
And my
Mm-hmm.
message can still get across. And I promise when John is yelling and I'm not, my message is getting across way more clearly.
Yes. Yeah. And knowing that you can be you, you can be congruent with your value system, your identity, who you are, and still be an authority
Hmm.
and do leadership your way.
Hmm. That's right.
I pushed you a few times in the 12 weeks.
Mm.
What did you learn about yourself in being so coachable, first of all, but in getting pushed a little bit to, think outside the box is such an overdone phrase, but I pushed you a little bit to think more of what is possible or what you can do. What did you learn from that expansion?
Um, I th- I think I learned that not everything is a lesson to be learned. If that makes any sense.
Hmm.
Sometimes I could brush things off or accept whatever happened as, well, it's just a lesson learned. And I remember you telling me not everything is a lesson. Sometimes people are just being jerks.
Right, exactly.
And it's okay, like, just say they're a
Yeah,
jerk.
yeah,
That sounds like he's being a real jerk.
right. Yeah,
And you don't have to accept that. You
Mm-hmm.
don't have to take that for the lesson that it is. It
Right.
isn't one.
Right.
So letting people,
Yes.
and that's their responsibility.
Yeah.
And I don't have to take that on as some
Yeah.
sort of cosmic lesson to be learned.
Right.
It's like sometimes their opinion is just their opinion. And you
Yep.
know what? That's their
Not
problem.
my issue. Right.
Yeah, that is
Exactly.
their problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Being able to have things fall off of us and not have to feel like we have to integrate everything that comes our way really helps save our energy.
Hmm.
And I think one of the things that is a very common thing, you heard it amongst all the women who you were in the coaching with. And I know this is something that is helping you now. Like once you get rid of those energy leaks, you now have you back. What are
Yeah,
you
I
doing to
have so
maintain
much
that?
more capacity
Yes.
for just
Yes.
generally everything now.
Yes.
My central nervous system has just come down and stabilized
Mm-hmm.
and is pretty stable all the time
Mm-hmm.
because I
Hmm.
have the ability to let someone's problems be their
Yes.
problems
Yes.
and regulate my own emotions
Mm-hmm.
and not to say suppressing them but just work through and keep going at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have a lot more capacity to deal with kind of anything that comes up, whether it be work related or kid related or
Mm-hmm.
otherwise. It just feels like bring it on. We'll
Yeah.
just deal with
Yeah.
things as they come and that's
Right.
okay.
How are your what are your kids getting now? Um, because you're operating in this soul powered version of you that maybe they were missing
Yeah,
from
my
their mom.
kids are funny and kids are so perceptive and like I think maybe week 2 or 3 they were
Mm.
like you're here. You're
Ah,
asking us questions
ah,
and stopping to listen to the answers. You're not just on your phone while you're asking us about our homework. Like I'm a lot more present for them. My oldest daughter, who is a teenager, really asked me a lot of questions
uh-huh,
about what the
mhm,
experience is like
mhm,
and what I was learning and I
mhm.
think kind of secondhand learning from those
Yeah,
experiences as well.
yeah,
And so we've been able to like implement some deep breathing and we did a meditation together and that kind of stuff. And so she was
mhm,
really curious about it, which has been awesome.
yeah. That's fantastic. What a gift. If you were to sort of transfer the investment you made in yourself to say, well, that was really an investment I made so I could be the mom I wanted to be for my kids. I
Yeah,
mean,
that
just
part.
imagine the long term
That like
that
if
is.
you're thinking about a return on investment or something like that, that part is priceless.
It is. And
There's
I'm just
none.
assuming that your husband equally is winning.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We have spent time together and had a conversation at dinner and have booked a long weekend getaway, just the two of us for this later this month. And he's like the fact that you have the capacity to even think about that is a game changer.
Yeah. Oh, so good. You learned also about what you bring to the table and how you can change an organization by doing your chief of staff work. And we're just going to be bold here. The dream job hasn't happened yet for you.
That's right.
You got all the tools.
That's right.
They stay with you. But what did you learn about yourself in a impact, like Shayla's ability to impact an organization? Just talk about how differently you might feel about what you really bring to the table.
Yeah, I think when I started again, I was feeling very small,
Mm-hmm.
very like I'm doing the job, but
Mm-hmm.
not really being able to see how that influenced an organization as a whole. And once I started really getting into the coaching, I start showing up in a bigger way. I start asking a lot more questions. I really dug into operations
Yeah.
and made them give me some answers
Yes. Yeah.
about
Yes.
things.
Yes.
And it has changed our organization in a way where we're about to close another round of funding, because
Wow.
we have so many operational improvements happening.
Wow.
And part of it is like being able to brag on yourself and say, like, I
Yeah.
did that. I
Yeah.
did do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's huge for your organization. I
Yeah,
mean, you're in a startup, fast growing
absolutely.
organization.
Yep.
Being able to put things in place that allows, I mean, I don't like the word allows, but that strengthens the organization because of the
Mhm.
work that you did,
Yeah.
and then they're able to continue to get the investments to keep the
Our
company.
Our CEO comments probably weekly on the achievements of the team and their ability to communicate, collaborate, work together.
Yeah,
And every week when he says it, I'm like, I did that. 6 months ago, these people couldn't hardly talk to each other. They couldn't stand each other. They couldn't hardly talk to each other. And now they are operating, collaborating, talking to each other, reaching out, saying, hey, I need some help. I don't understand this. Like, that's huge for any
yeah,
organization.
yeah, yeah.
And so it's making a really, really big impact.
That's
And I
fantastic.
can see now how I have done that.
Yes. Oh, that's so good. I mean, owning your truth, owning your power, feeling
Mhm.
great about the inside of you, being able to be the mom and the partner that you truly want to be with your family.
Mhm.
Um, what would you say to Shayla, or a woman who's in the same scenario that you were in? What would you say to that woman right now, thinking about, oh, I don't know if I should book a call, or I booked a call and it sounds good, but I don't know. Like, what would you say to that woman at the threshold of that decision making?
Yeah, I would say I know it's scary and you can do hard things and do them afraid, start them afraid and do them anyway,
Mm-hmm.
because you're anything unknown is going to be scary,
Yeah.
but it's going to stop being scary.
Mm-hmm.
Do it anyway.
Yeah.
Do it scared.
Yeah. Yeah. That is one of our mantras
Hmm.
that we have, and we're never totally comfortable to do anything new. And this is something I think the nervous system like tricks us.
Hmm.
The nervous system is a little bit weary of the uncertain or the unknown, something new or growth. Like, what's that going to mean? And we have to have that prefrontal cortex kick in and say, yeah, but you want the thing on that other side of this. So, prefrontal cortex, soul,
Yeah, I mean, and your
get me
your
over this.
your central nervous system is really a biological system set up to say, is this about to kill me?
Yes, exactly.
And your prefrontal cortex is there to go, not going to die,
Yeah,
not going to die.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
As a
do it
matter of fact, this could
anyway.
help
Do
you.
it scared. Yeah,
Hmm.
do it
Yeah,
scared. It's not going to
yeah,
kill you.
right. Yeah. It's a really outdated mechanism, isn't it? And you
That's
being
right.
you
That's
being
right.
in that field as a nurse, a lot of human beings are on overdrive with a primitive survival mechanism. And you talked about feeling small and unheard, and that's the chronic stress syndrome. And you've come through it beautifully. You've been a fantastic client. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank
Oh,
you
thank you for
for
having me.
having the courage to lean into the better part of you. I'm delighted that your family gets to see a thriving version of Shayla. And we know with the tools and everything you have at your fingertips that next best company, next best opportunity, um, with the right match for who you are and what you bring to the table
That's
is
right.
is right there.
It's
And
coming.
tools for life, and really a cheerleader for life from me.
Oh, thanks so
Really.
much.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for your interview, Shayla.
Of
And
course.
folks, if you want to have that same type of journey, it's called leaning in. It's called taking some decisions and booking that call with us at mofall.com/talk. That's where we have that truthful conversation to determine if your career problem is something we can fix, and what you want to do. Can we get you there? That's the magic. And Shayla, again, thank you so much for sharing your story. Everything that women face in the corporate world, in life actually, can be counterattacked, counteropposed by a woman's powerful internal sense of being. And I call that your soul power. I want to help more women understand their soul power, and I want to create a soul-powered revolution. This is Coach Mo, mofall.com.